So in this video I'm going to talk about my WrestleMania 41 predictions and also somewhat about the SmackDown before Mania as well. Starting with New Day versus War Raiders, I do think New Day is going to win, even though I'm kind of like a little bit confused because if they're having the New Day versus War Raiders, which has been like a nothing feud on Mania, is Biggie returning? But I do think they're doing that more less because of Biggie, but more because they want to show like New Day is a big name and that New Day's heel turn we have handled it well. I think New Day is winning the tag titles and it makes sense. But I would have had the TLC match rather be on Mania rather than this. And I think adding an extra match won't have hurt that much because I don't think whatever Randy's match is gonna be, I don't think that's going that long anyways. Whoever comes there, don't think it's going beyond 10-15 minutes. You could have given, I think even given 15 minutes to the TLC match, they would have done a lot of things. But we're gonna see that on SmackDown next week. So apart from that, Jade Cargill versus Naomi, I think Jade is winning because on this SmackDown we saw how Naomi wants Bianca's approval and all that, and I think Naomi is going to interfere in that Bianca triple threat, and it's going to make more sense because she lost to Jade, because she kind of like loses to Jade, she takes it out on Bianca, and I do think Bianca also kind of needs it because she has been getting a lot of like heel reactions in her feud, in this triple threat feud. Like, it's the first time that Bianca has gotten heat on the main roster. Like, she has never gotten booed. I don't think she has ever gotten booed in any feud she has been on the main roster. So I do think that this will help Bianca get that more of the face reaction from the crowd, and also that Jade and Naomi's feud is more like a stepping stone for both of these ladies. I do think Jade, instead of Charlotte, I do think you need more time for that, will go towards, probably towards Chelsea Green. It makes more sense. This Chelsea Green, maybe though they don't know how to present her character, her gimmick, like maybe they're not having those like fun vignettes, cinematic stuff, but it's kind of like mid. Even she has been mid in the ring, and I do think it's gonna end with Jade becoming the United States Women's Champion, and I think that's probably what's best for business. Like, her getting elevated into that division, like probably making that title her own identity. It's a new title, and also maybe that will help that title to get onto pay-per-views a lot more also. And I think Naomi will probably interfere in that Bianca match at Mania, and that is going to probably set up a long feud between Naomi and Bianca Belair going forward. And I do hope that Io wins that triple threat match. She needs it. We'll talk about it later. Then you also have Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I hope Rey is fine because he got taken out of the match like pretty much at the start, and it looks like he's injured. He was carried out, but if like they didn't change the match right then, maybe they didn't really got the full medical report. But if they got the full medical report, like if the match has changed, I can see it being like a multi-tag match because you got Phoenix involved here. Like, I think El Grande Americano eliminated Rey Phoenix from the Battle Royal. So this is setting up a lot of things. Like, this El Grande Americano character is going to go like forward. Like, it's not just ending at Mania, it seems. It's not just ending at Mania. So it's probably going forward. And this will probably help also that Chad Gable can be on Raw and El Grande Americano is on SmackDown going against Phoenix, and it's pretty good like first feud for Phoenix also. I thought that they were setting up something with Legado del Fantasma, but it looks like they're doing it with El Grande Americano. So I don't know, like this will result in an El Grande Americano win because if they are setting up things with Phoenix, or maybe it can result in a Rey Mysterio win, but it's just that El Grande Americano does not get unmasked because if he gets unmasked, like you cannot have a feud between Phoenix and him. But I don't think it will be like WrestleMania if they have Ray just win and not unmask him. I do think El Grande Americano is gonna win. I don't think anyone would have thought about that, but I think after watching what happened on SmackDown, I think El Grande Americano is winning at Mania. I do think that, and I think it's probably gonna be Ray Phoenix who's probably gonna end up beating El Grande Americano and unmasking him. I think that's what's gonna happen. They also had a great six-man tag match on SmackDown. Like see the way that they're booking Ray Phoenix. Like they have him eliminated from the battle royal, and they still gave him a match so that he can get his heat back, so and get his win. So then the next match is the Gunther versus Jey Uso match. I think Jey Uso is winning. Everyone knows that. I think Gunther has reinvigorated himself as a heel, but I do think they're probably going to give him a break. Like he has been doing the hard yards, like doing the European tour, like doing all the tours. He has not been given his respect as world champion on the live shows. Like I think Public Enemy's podcast said that Damon Priest has had a better title reign than Gunther, and that's true. Like if you see it as a whole, Damien has had a better reign, be it in terms of matches or be it in terms of feuds. I think especially in terms of feuds, like Damien Priest has had the better reign as Gunther, and it's not Gunther's fault. Like they just didn't give him, you know, those opponents where which they easily could have. But I do think Gunther is gonna take a break whenever the Saudi show is here. Goldberg comes back. You bring back Gunther and you have him in Goldberg's career and get him his heat back. And I do hope in the future they give Gunther another title reign and that they finally give him the title reign that he deserves. Like with good to great opponents, like he got with his IC title reign, like good feuds like he had with the IC title reign, and I think maybe a level above, and let him show why Gunther is Gunther. Because we are shown even in this Jey Uso feud, like he has the material to be like a top heel in this company if they treat him right. I do think Jey Uso's reign is not gonna go as long. Like people thought first it may go till SummerSlam. I don't think Jey has it in him, be it as a wrestler and be it as anyways he doesn't really look good also right now. He looks tired. I think he's probably gonna lose quick to Braun Breaker also. Like Braun Breaker, like I think is going to be the next world champion defeating Jey Uso. Tiffany versus Charlotte, I do think they are probably planning a ruse. Like they're showing that Charlotte is gonna win, Charlotte is gonna win like they did with Roman, but in the end like Tiffany wins. So I'm going with Tiffany. And they have pivoted with this feud. Like first it was like an underdog babyface facing a scrawny heel, but now it has been like they are going with insider stuff. Like on SmackDown, like Charlotte said I was wrong about going up beyond in the interview, Tiffany saying that Charlotte bullied her and all that. I don't think they're gonna have the girl that said that someone bullied me losing. That won't look good on WWE to have like a woman say that she's been getting bullied by this older woman and then just have her just to lose at Mania. So I think Tiffany is gonna win the match. Then you also have what else are the matches on WrestleMania Night 1? Have I missed anyone? I don't think I've missed anything. Then you have the triple threat, which is LA Knight with Jacob Fatu. I kind of missed it, but now I got it. Like I think LA is gonna win. I do think because the things that they have shown, Tama being hospitalized, I do think Tama is gonna return at Mania. We are thinking that he's gonna side with Jacob, but then Solo and Tama betray Jacob, and I do think LA wins. I do think LA is not probably the right person to give Jacob his first pinfall loss, and I do think it would have made much more sense if like someone like a new up and comer finally defeats Jacob. But I do think that Jacob is going to lose because it kind of looks like the United States title is also like
beneath him right now because it's kind of nothing right now, and also you don't really have that many people to feud. Like if Jacob wins, they're not gonna have immediately solo turn heel. Like Triple H does not do things like that. And you really on the face side, who is there? Like literally no one. Like you cannot have him go against Braun Strowman. Jacob already defeated him clean. Who do you have? Andrade probably, but you have to build him up. Maybe Phoenix when he gets built up to that level. Aleister Black and Rusev, but the thing is, do you want to have Rusev or Aleister Black beat your up and coming star Jacob Fatu? It kind of makes sense for LA to win because he just started his second United States title reign, and it kind of makes more sense when his name is put up against someone like an Aleister Black Rusev. Like he can have matches with those guys where he can actually lose to them also and not really lose anything as a character or as a wrestler, and he can beat them also and they may not lose that much if it is booked right. And I do think that's what's going to probably happen. uh, I think that's what's going to happen. I do think probably Aleister Black will be LA Knight's first feud. Like LA Knight is probably going to be like, yeah, I beat Jacob Hart with me, and then Aleister Black just shows up and kicks him in the face. I do think that's probably what's going to happen. I do think Randy's opponent, we'll talk about that later, but I do think LA will win. And then we have the triple threat main event. Do I even need to say anything about that? CM Punk is winning. CM Punk was winning, and he has to. The only reason that the show that they are main eventing is because of Roman Reigns. Like Roman Reigns' politic to have this be the main event because CM Punk and Seth have said that they don't really mind that if they had main evented or not. So Roman probably caught himself in the main event, and you know what? I don't blame him. Like he's a top star. He knows how much value he brings to the WWE, and especially if I'm a top star, I will always try to be my match to be in the main event, to be in the feud that I know will be feasible to be the main event. Though it is very selfish and it is kind of counterproductive also that Roman versus Drew as a storyline could have been like maybe one of the most like well-led storylines there can be. But Roman maybe thinking that maybe Drew is not at my level and that I may have to lose to Drew, so he didn't do that, which is pretty sad. But anyways, he is not gonna win this match. CM Punk has to. It kind of makes sense for all three to win. Do I think this is like one of the better builds of WrestleMania? No. I think probably
This week and last week got me interested in this feud. Before that, I was really not that interested in this feud. But they have like made, like especially the past 2 weeks have made it pretty unpredictable that anything can happen at Mania. Like you can have Paul Heyman turn on both of them and join Seth. You can have Paul Heyman just walk away, have them distracted, because he walked away and Seth wins. Roman can win because he doesn't trust Paul Heyman anymore. Like he's on that 2021, like wreck everyone and leave, but just without Paul Heyman. Like he doesn't trust anyone, so he can also beat them. CM Punk because he's the master manipulator, according to Seth Rollins, and he wins the match. And I do think if they're having this match as the main event because they are, I think CM Punk winning makes sense. I don't think CM Punk is losing his first main event in WWE. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I do think CM Punk is winning this match. I think a lot of smoke and mirrors will happen, but I also think that this match will probably over deliver. I do think many people's expectations of this match as a wrestling match is probably not that much, but I do think this match is gonna over deliver. I do think Roman is gonna like bring out all his wrestling abilities. I do think all the other two are gonna do great also. And also, I think El Grande Americano is defeating Rey Mysterio. Especially after what happened on SmackDown, I do think probably the eventual feud is going to be Rey Phoenix eventually unmasking El Grande Americano. I do think Rey is losing at Mania. And if Rey is not making Mania because he got carried out at the SmackDown, I do think it's going to be a multi tag, and Americano is probably going to beat pinning Dragon Lee, and this feud is going to continue further. Then going on to night 2, and we start with
women's tag titles. So Liv and Raquel versus Bailey and Lyra. I think Liv and Raquel are winning. It's pretty certain. I don't think Bailey and Lyra have had that much time. Like they are getting cheered, but I don't think they have that long-term emotional connection as tag team partners with the crowd to like win the tag title and it being like a big moment. And they don't really need it. I think Liv and Raquel need the win much more. They have not really done much with the titles since they have won it. It's not really their fault. It's like WWE was trying to figure out how to have those titles at Mania and they were not able to. But I think Liv and Raquel is winning. I do think it's going to be probably because of some miscommunication happening between Lyra and Bailey, and I think it's going to result in Liv and Raquel winning. And with Liv probably pinning Lyra also. I do think Liv and Lyra may have like an IC title women's match on the Raw after WrestleMania, and I think Lyra may lose the title because I think Bailey is probably gonna turn heel on Raw against Lyra, which will result in Liv defeating Lyra and becoming the women's IC champion. I do think that's gonna happen. I do think that's the next move, and it's probably gonna result in a Bailey and Lyra probably a heel face feud going forward, and I think probably then they're gonna do a story of probably then Lyra winning against eventually winning against Bailey, and probably Becky returning to have a feud with Liv over the IC championship, and probably gonna result in eventually Becky winning that title from Liv, and then when Lyra is done with Bailey, setting up a Becky and Lyra feud over the IC title. I think that's what's gonna happen. Next you have AJ versus Logan Paul. AJ is winning that match, and he should. It makes sense. Like AJ, like Logan has been laying AJ out on Raw for the past 2 weeks, giving him the pulverizer. I did like Karen Cross's like inclusion into the feud, so he has carried this feud. This feud has been pretty trash, even though like Logan's feuds have been like at least entertaining. Most of them have been entertaining till the match happens, but this one was not. I hope that this match is good because I expect this match to be good, and I do hope AJ gets an easy win. And I think probably what's going to happen is AJ is probably going to move in the IC title picture after defeating Logan, because eventually whatever happens in that IC title match that I'm going to talk about next, I do think AJ being like the first number opponent there is pretty good. So talking about the IC title match, the Fatal 4-Way, Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor. I do think Dominic is winning. I think JD is gonna return at WrestleMania. I think he was always slated to be like cleared by March end anyways. He's probably gonna return at WrestleMania, and I do think JD trying to help Finn is inadvertently going to cost Finn the match, and I think Dominic is gonna win. Dominic is gonna win, probably like pinning Finn Balor. And I do think it's going to be inadvertent, like he doesn't know what happened, but I do think Dominic is winning that IC title, and that is why I said that AJ will probably win that match, and this is going to lead into an AJ Dominic feud. Like AJ being like the first feud for Dominic is great because you know that AJ will go all out to give Dominic the best match that he can, so that it sets up Dominic's title reign, that it sets Dominic up in the upper mid card rather than where he has been right now. I do think that's what's going to happen. I think it's probably going to lead into a slow burn with Dominic and the rest of the Judgment Day eventually turning on Finn, and Finn going on a face, and Bailey taking that IC title off later, like 6-7 months later from Dom. Then the next match, which is Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in the Sin City Street Fight. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is going to win. I do think that's what's going to happen. And like, I know that the King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring pay-per-view is probably not going to happen this year, but I hope that the tournament does happen. And I do think Drew winning this and then going on to becoming the King of the Ring will be so much good. Like, I won't mind Drew or Braun Breaker, one of them taking the title of Jew so as soon as they can. And I think Drew needs this win more. Like, Drew David Priest, like, he has got his fixed spot on the card. Like, he's the upper mid card, and maybe he is put into more situation than he actually deserves, but he has done well. Like, this feud has probably been like one of the better built feuds for WrestleMania. Like, I didn't think this was going to be as good, but they have done really well. Both Drew and Damien. Drew started it with putting everything into his feud, and Damien followed it up. And I'm glad that they have made this a street fight. Like, Damien has his best matches when he goes hard in the ring. Like, beat with weapons, beat with his hands, and I think it will be a great match. And Drew needs to win. Drew needs to win, and I think probably what's going to happen is Drew is going to win, and then he's probably going to go into a feud with Cody, because Cody is going to lose the championship. And oh, spoilers. And if Cody loses, I think Drew is kind of like the right opponent. Like, Drew can just rub it on his face, and like they can have a good feud then going into the summer. Like, kind of Cody had with Brock Lesnar, but this time I hope Drew explains why he's going after Cody, and he doesn't really need to explain also, because we have had so many interactions with people. Then, moving forward, we have the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, which is Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus uh, Bianca Belair, and this is an open night 2 of WrestleMania, which I think is fine. Kind of like a little bit like miffed that they are not even doing the semi-main event, but semi-main events are not really like a good spot because the crowd is pretty much very exhausted, and at that point they really don't give you attention because they're waiting to get their energy up for the main event. I think Io is going to win. I do think Naomi is going to interfere in this match, which is going to lead to Bianca getting taken out, and I think Rhea, because she's so overconfident and also that she has so many actual doubts about beating Io, it's going to result if Io like pinning Rhea again and retaining the women's championship. And she kind of needs it because purposefully in this feud she has been shown as the third wheel. Then nobody really cares about her in this feud, that Rhea and Bianca don't really focus on her, and also that Io is like kind of like the underdog in this feud, and I hope she gets the win, because if she doesn't, like they have just shown her as the third wheel, as the person who is no one really thinking about, for nothing. Like, this will just kind of like bury Io Sky. So Io Sky needs this win more than the team, because I think what's probably going to happen is this is going to lead eventually into SummerSlam, where I think we're going to get Io versus Rhea 3, and Rhea is probably going to win the women's championship there, because I think Rhea is probably going to go on a journey again, kind of like she went with Liv, but this time I do hope they show her more as an underdog here, that Rhea is just not able to beat Io. Like, what Rhea became during the feud between Io, Bianca and her is not the Rhea that she wants to become. Like, her loneliness is getting to her, like her overconfidence is getting to her, her inability to defeat Io is getting to her. I think eventually you have her going through turmoil, and then you can have Rhea Ripley beat Io probably at SummerSlam for the title. And I do think that's what's gonna happen. What is the other match? I do think I've talked about all the matches except like the main event, and I think the main event. Oh, I forgot about Randy Orton versus TD. I think it's going to be Rusev. I don't think it's going to be Nick Aldis. In a way, if it's Nick Aldis, I won't mind, because Nick Aldis losing doesn't really do like that bad for Nick. Rusev returning and losing kind of like is like, well, he's not gonna get buried, but I do think that Rusev returning just to lose, I do think it's a bad start for Rusev. If Rusev returns and he wins against Randy Orton, that's another thing. And I think Randy Orton, can he afford to lose? I mean, Randy Orton has lost a lot since he came back, and you know what? I have actually liked his run a lot. Like him losing has not been like something like, oh, why has he lost? Like this doesn't make sense. It has made sense why he lost. This is why I don't really mind him losing. And I do think Randy kind of needs a win because Backlash is going to be in St. Louis, Missouri, and I think probably you are gonna have Randy Orton against John Cena there for the WWE Championship. I think that's what's gonna happen there. You kind of need Randy to win. So I do think whoever he's going to face, I do hope they don't bring out Russell just for him to lose. I do hope they bring out Nick Aldis, have like a 5-10 minute match and have Randy Orton beat him. I do think Randy is winning. And then going into the main event, which is Cody versus John Cena. John Cena is winning. Like Cody has stood tall over John Cena for the past 2 weeks. Also, Carmelo Hayes won the Underground Memorial Battle. So I do hope he gets either the tag titles or the US titles in later in the year. And he's going to be in line for a big push because they have those guys win the Underground Memorial Battle that who are in the high books of the creative, and also that who they have in line for a major push when they have like the spots open for them later in the year, like they did with Monson Reed, like they did with Jey Uso. I think they're gonna do with Carmelo Hayes as well. So I think John Cena is winning. Cody has stood tall over him for 2 weeks straight, and also that Cody like got back the crowd on his side. While they were booing him, you can say that those insults were kind of like many insider insults, and those insults were those, but he got them back. Like this shows that Cody didn't let the crowd rattle him. Like when heels get rattled by a crowd like Charlotte, but a babyface was not supposed to get booed, didn't get rattled by the crowd. He went on with his promo and he got the better of him. I do think the Rock is going to interfere because finally John mentioned The Rock. Some things made sense in John's promo, some things didn't. I don't really want to talk about it. I know this video is already very long. I think John is winning. I do think The Rock is going to come out with Travis Scott, and I think Rock is going to be like, you still have a chance, Cody. You still have a chance. Embrace me. I will tell John to lay down, or it will be something like that. But Cody doesn't agree with him, and then John attacks him, and then gives him an AA and wins. I did like John's some lines that like nothing really like phases a man who knows that he's gonna die because he knows that he's gonna retire. Also, like some lines that were good. Like I like Cody's lines also, and and that's it. I do think Cena is gonna win. So that were my predictions for WrestleMania 41. What are your predictions? What did you think about my predictions? Tell me in the comment section. Tell your predictions in the comment section. So if you like this type of content, like this video, share it with them. If you don't, you can share it with those who do. My social media accounts links, which are my Twitter/X accounting and my Instagram accounting, are in the description. So go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is chatbot@OKSCSA, is in the description also. So go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, and goodbye.